Hello and welcome to Link Ahead, the City of Dublin podcast. By now, some of our loyal listeners know that our Dublin-inspired theme music has been with us since Season 1, Episode 1. But for this episode, we're going to switch it up a bit.
That can only mean one thing. It's time to talk about the 2023 Dublin Irish Festival. So welcome this year's Honorary Chair, Ian Montgomery. Ian, welcome to Link Ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't believe this time has finally arrived. It all seemed like months away, and now we're weeks, and I can feel the butterflies in my stomach. Kind of reminds me, you know when you used to play sport back in the day, and you had a big final in a couple of weeks, and the butterflies are going. That's what I feel right now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think.
You think?
Yeah. But I'm just glad it's here, and it's going to be fun.
We're excited that the festival is finally getting here. We've seen the tents going up. You know, it seems like Independence Day happens and then boom, Irish Festival tents are up. So you've had months of planning like you're talking about. You're a spokesperson and an ambassador too. So what does being the honorary chair mean to you?
Yeah, well, I guess I get the easy job. You know, I get to ride around on floats waving at people and go down to the crew game for Irish Heritage Night and stuff like that. So, and get to hang out with you guys, of course. So the easy thing falls on me. So I know there's a lot of people behind the scenes where I'd say stress levels are ratcheting up now as we get closer. But for me, it's again easy job. Coming from what do we call it? The other Dublin. As an immigrant here, coming from the other Dublin. I remember my before I left. So my parents in the 60s was the Ireland where you had to emigrate to find work, and my mum and dad did that, and they met in London. And Irish people weren't always treated the way you should treat people. So I remember before I left here, my mother saying, make sure people treat you right over there. And she was worried about that. And then I came over to this wonderful place, and being Irish is fantastic. Everyone wants to know your story. Everyone has their own bit of heritage, and they love to tell you about it, which is great. So I finally, I'm not going to say they asked me to do this because it's really bestowed upon you, I guess.
Right. You couldn't say no.
I was in shock, first of all. I couldn't say anything. But I get a little emotional now, but it's a huge thing for me. It was a great phone call home to my mother to tell her, guess what happened to me today. And obviously awesome. For Michelle and the kids, it's huge, you know. So I'm delighted to be here, and hopefully I don't let anyone down.
Well, you found the right home here in Dublin. So what brought you from Ireland to Ohio?
Well, that'd be the wife.
Oh, it was a
it's always
big
a woman.
Motivator.
It's always a woman. So so I was a member of the Irish National Police Force on Garda Síochána for almost 10 years. And I went in one St. Patrick's Day, went to Kennedy's Pub in Drumcondra in Dublin, and met this American lass called Michelle. We got married. We were 5 months pregnant with our first daughter, Finn, and we decided to make the move to stateside. So we came over here, and Finn was born, and we decided to stay a couple of more years. I ended up with 4 kids, and
wow.
Yeah, so here we are.
What was the line that Michelle was like, yes, I'm going to marry this man?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I'm just
we'll have to have her on and ask her.
Yeah, you'd want to, because and when you meet her, you know I married up, so I don't know. There must have been drink involved. That's all I can say. Yeah.
That's the secret.
Before we dive into specifics, let's talk about your background, your heritage, because your home is Dublin, Ireland. You were a police officer there. So walk us through the timeline a bit of how you made your transition from law enforcement to restaurant manager.
Yeah, so when we moved over here, the plan was to stay for the year. And then we ended up staying I had a 30-year contract with the Irish government, which you could pause for 1-year increments up to 5 years to travel. So each year I would apply for another year. Eventually I got the letter saying, are you coming back or retiring? So decided to retire.
You were a police officer in Dublin, Ireland. Talk about the difference between that and here, because when I was there, I found out their police don't carry guns or anything like that, so it's a little bit different.
It is. So if you see a uniformed officer over there, he won't have a gun. But then there's plainclothes guys and plainclothes cars that sneak off in the background. So they're there, you just don't see them. What does an Irish guy do who's stuck in another country? You open a pub. So I had been a long-time customer of Fado Irish Pub in Easton, and the operating partner over there, Scott Neff, asked me to join his team. So I started there as a bartender, worked my way up to management, and then eventually bought in as a partner. And here we are. We opened our Fado Pub and Kitchen, Bridge Park 5 years ago, and haven't looked back since.
It's been 5 years?
Yeah, almost, yeah.
And it really has found a loyal fan base from the unique menu and the atmosphere, especially if there happens to be a big football game on. And I'm saying football, soccer, right?
Yeah, the World Cup was crazy.
Yeah, so you couldn't get in there if you wanted to go watch a soccer game. But was it a natural fit to bring a little of your hometown to Dublin, Ohio?
Yeah, so when we were looking to open our second spot, Dublin obviously appealed to me just because it was Dublin, because I'm a simple kind of person. And the Bridge Park development was getting underway, and we met with the landlords there, and then we met with some city people, and the city wants this place to succeed, and they work tirelessly to make it happen. So obviously it's Dublin to Dublin thing was a good fit, but we say we have a real chance of success in this environment. Even if you look back when COVID hit and how quick the city were to close streets and put dining on streets so restaurants could stay open and people had things to do. And it wasn't like that in most markets around the country. And our Fado partners who have restaurants around the country could tell you that how quick Dublin were at reacting to this. And it's that environment where we have a chance of success. So the whole Dublin thing, every piece of the jigsaw was there. So hopefully we'll be here for a long time to come.
You get to do some cool stuff once the festival gets here the first weekend of August. You open the festival, you start the 5K, judge contests, lead the festival finale. Out of all those, do any of those like really get you nervous?
If you told me I had to run the 5K,
I was going to ask you if you were
because the day after the Irish Fest, I have to get a hip replacement. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm making me two eldest kids run it instead. So
Oh, there you go. Well, good luck.
Yeah, so we'll be represented in the field. I was talking about them butterflies earlier, and I'm sure that'll increase. I'm very conscious that being the Honorary Chair, it doesn't mean any part of this is about me. It's about all the people who put so much work into it, all the volunteers. I was at a meeting last week where the head volunteers were there, and there was tons of them. I was like, oh my God.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you add in all the other volunteers. And I hope when people see these people after their shifts the weekend, it doesn't cost anything to have a smile when you see them in their T-shirts and say thank you. Or if you see them in one of the bars around town and they look shattered, buy them a beer or something. You know, a thank you costs nothing, a beer, a bit more, but something there for everyone's budget. And the people who went before me, I'm conscious of that. We tragically lost one of the past honorary chairs and a good friend of mine a few weeks ago in Dr. Carl Clinton. So I'm very conscious that I can't do anything to mess all this up on everyone. So make sure I be where I have to be, say what I have to say, and don't say what I shouldn't say, I guess.
Well, you're a part of that family now, so congratulations. So let's dive into the diff a little bit. Let's start off with entertainment. We have more than 60 musical acts this year. What are some of your favorites?
Yeah, it's crazy when you say 60 and then if you see them written down, in the list, it's like, oh, wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so obviously Gaelic Storm would be a huge draw. We had City in our Eastern pub a few years ago, who were fantastic. Great. Our very own Drowsy lads. I've been lucky enough to know them guys for 17 years I've been here. Just great people, great musicians. The one band I haven't heard, and I don't know how I haven't heard them, and I hear a lot of great things, at the Socks in the Frying Pan. I'm looking forward to hearing that. And then we've so much local talent here that people mightn't be aware of. The likes of the Ladies of Longford, Dogwood Road, the Kells, the McKeons.
Why is it that every Irish band has a cool name?
Cool name.
I know. Bear Bua. Well, if you're giving out prizes, it would have to be the Pipers.
Oh,
They'd have
Red
to
Hot
get it. The Red Hot Chili Pipers.
Yeah.
That has to be the best band name ever. But the genre of Irish music is interesting because it's not really one genre. There's rocky pop Irish music. There's traditional instrumentals, there's ballads, so there's something there kind of for everyone, or how you're feeling, or get a little bit of all of them in while you're there. So if everyone downloads the app, the Irish Fest
Thank
app,
you. All right.
It's amazing. Everything's laid out for you, so download the app and you can find out who's playing, where they're playing, what they play, and do it.
I myself walk around with the app in my hand going, where am I going next? So it's such a good tool. Thank you.
Now let's talk culture. This is so important to who we are in Dublin as we celebrate and showcase this. Everything from storytelling to hands-on workshops, genealogy, you have a different perspective on this, actually being from Ireland. So tell us, does the culture at the Dublin Irish Festival really get it right when it comes to Irish culture?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because the way I look at it, you could throw a load of stages and bands and food and drink and say that's a festival. Okay?
Right.
But the city have gone the extra step, where you can go and learn the history of the country. And like being Irish, our history has a huge part to play in who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've gone back, I know the last time I was there was a guy telling the story of Brian Boru, the last High King of Ireland, who interestingly, I think it was 1016, he had his wake in the same church I was baptized.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
I'm full of really interesting facts.
That's awesome.
And you know
That
we're not going to fact check you on this.
I can say anything I want.
You can say whatever.
But and then Dublin, the other Dublin, is a Viking town, and they have all that history laid out. And it's great, especially when you're there as a family and your kids get to see, like kids' attention spans are all over the place. It's only so long you can sit down and listen to a band play without them getting fidgety.
Sure.
So bring them around to all these little tents and just watch their faces as they see all that going on. It's great. The other thing, everyone says Ireland's famous for Guinness and whiskey. And, yeah.
I've heard that.
I've heard that.
We're really proud of is our authors and our poets, you know, the James Joyces, the William Butler Yeatses, the Paddy Kavanaghs, the Roddy Doyles, and all that is at the Irish Fest too. And then the next generation of these writers and poets are all there. And where else would you get all this in one place?
I do need some clarification, just a definitive answer. I see kilts.
Yes.
When I think kilts, I've always thought Scottish.
So do I.
You're getting controversial
So
here,
I don't
Bruce.
want to start any feuds that haven't already been fought for thousands of years.
Well, let me set your mind at ease. I will not be wearing a kilt at any stage.
Hey, Bruce, haven't you worn a kilt before? I think.
Next
there's
question,
video
Lindsay.
Of
I
that.
think you're back
there's
up.
video of that out there.
That was a
on
long
the
time ago.
The Scots and the Irish were all the same people, so I'm sure we had
and
it
let
everywhere.
me tell you, when it's August and it's always the hottest, most humid weekend of the year, I say wear that
Wear a
kilt
kilt.
if you want. You
I
know,
don't. It's like very heavy material to me.
well, wear whatever you'd like. But okay, so let's talk about the food. This year we have more than 40 food vendors, and again, it's whatever your taste buds want, from traditional Irish staples to food truck specialties. Anything you're really looking forward to, or something that you have to get every year at the festival?
If you go home hungry, it's your own fault. That's the way I look at it. You know? I'm sure a lot of people will go for the traditional fare, the fish and chips, shepherd's pie with the Celtic pig is there in the Dublin pub, and the Irish baker for the soda bread. But again, especially if you're going in groups, we don't all have the same taste. I know there's pizza, there's Mexican food, there's a little bit of everything, ice cream. Yeah, again, if you go hungry, it's your own fault.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
I probably said this last year on the podcast, but my birthday celebration meal growing up was always shepherd's pie. Your
Really?
mom would make whatever you wanted, and for whatever reason, I really, really loved shepherd's pie. So
Well, there you go.
Is that still hold true? I mean, do you still have?
I'm trying to think the last time I would had it, probably a few years ago.
Can you eat it in a field when it's 90 degrees? That's the question.
No.
Yeah.
There's some
That's what
shade, all right?
That's
There
what
is
the
some
cold
shade.
beer is for.
Also, you can come to the Diff and buy some of the most unique gifts anywhere. If you're a shopper, we have nearly 100 vendors with crafts, jewelry, fine art, home decor offerings that'll blow you away. So is there anything that you see there and you're like, wow, that is truly Irish?
So every year we go, we come home with something. We've run out of walls at home now with paintings and photographs. Actually, on our front door, beside our front door on the wall, we have a Fáilte sign, a welcome sign, a wooden one. We bought it in the Dublin Irish Fest, I'm going to say 15 years ago.
Wow.
And it's withstood all the weather conditions. So every year we come home with something. But again, it's jewellery, it's art, it's pottery. It's you could, if you're thinking ahead, you do your Christmas shopping.
Right.
Christmas shopping in August. There
Christmas
you go.
in
Then
August,
Then you
forget-
can relax in December. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's everything from jewelry to painting
Yep.
to obviously T-shirts. And I don't know how many.
And very unique as well.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
People aren't going up to, I can never remember if it's TK or TJ Maxx to get it, because we have the opposite back home.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
TJ. I think it's TJ Maxx.
And it's TK at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you get something there, it's unique.
So you and your staff at Fado are giving back to Diff by donating a lunch. Tell us about that and kind of how you're involved.
The Emerald Club, we always do the Sunday lunch there. It's something we started right when we opened our first, this will be our 4th year doing it. So it's just something that we can give back to the Dublin Irish Fest, which are obviously so good to the community here.
One other thing you do is Fado has been a huge sponsor of the Safe Ride of Central Ohio program and partnering with Dublin for about a decade now for offering safe rides home. And this year, the city and Fado are working together to provide lift codes for people who want to come to the festival and, to take a lift home. So why is this something that's important to you?
We started off doing it for St. Patrick's Day events way back when. And again, I'm going to tell people to download an app, download Lyft.
It's true. Well, just when I first started here, we were doing vouchers for cab
that's right. I remember them.
So we've come a long way. Now it's a code on an app. So
so download that Lyft app and Irish Fest 23, Irish Fest 23 is a code that'll get you $10 off, and it goes straight through the weekend and Monday as well. So if you can come back and get your car. Look, we all like going out and enjoying ourselves and having a few drinks, and that's what being an adult is, and that's fun. But let's have a plan to get home safely. The City of Dublin have been awesome over the years. They've been a huge sponsor. New Year's Eve, Paddy's Day, the golf, the Memorial Tournament, or obviously Irish Fest. There's no excuse anymore. So please use the code, get home safely. Unfortunately, we can all look at numbers and statistics of tragic things that have happened. There's on the other side, you can't see. There's no number to quantify how many lives has Safe Ride saved over the years, or many tragedies didn't happen, how many lives just went on as normal because of it. So let's go enjoy ourselves, but get home safely.
Well, Ian, we know you respect traditions, and here at Link Ahead, we have a tradition of closing every episode with a few rapid-fire questions.
Here we go.
So here we go. Of your 4 kids, Finn.
Which one do I like the best?
No,
that's not fair.
We've been scolded on this podcast before. It's no favoritism. Kids, he loves you all. Of your 4 kids, Finn, Beckett, Rory, Cormac, which one of these has the most Irish name?
All right, so we'll start. Rory's real name is Rourke, but she likes to go by Rory.
Oh, okay.
So Finn, Beckett, and Rourke are all surnames, last names in Ireland. Cormac's the only real first name, so we'll have to give it to Cormac.
There you go.
All right. Whose choice was that? Your wife or yours?
Well, I can't get in trouble if I say hers.
Okay.
And then I went along with it.
There you go. Smart man. Okay, we mentioned your background as a police officer. Tell us a major similarity between law enforcement and restaurant management.
Well, I used to have to deal with the drunk people. Now I cause the drunk people. I guess it's working with people. It's just, that's part of the job I like.
Right.
Tell us one unexpected bonus, one you absolutely did not see coming, of being the honorary chair at the festival.
I was going to say sitting here with you guys. I'd be lying. But I was throwing the first pitch at the baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when does an Irish guy ever get to do that? And I'd never thrown a ball before.
Right. Okay, so where ball strike, what was it?
It was great.
It was great.
All right.
So my best friend is the head baseball coach at Otterbein University, George Powell.
Okay.
So I called him up and said, here, I have to do this. I'm coming up to the university. You have to show me how to do it. And he said, nah, I can't do that. And then for days leading up to it, he just sent me little clips of people who'd messed up for speeches.
There is plenty of those out there.
What a true friend. And he's Rory's godfather.
Bruce's son's a pitcher. I think you should make a connection here and get his college
it was
career going.
It was very high and loopy. It looked like a 3-point.
It got there. That's it. That's all that matters. And that game started. So
there you go.
All right. What food do you miss most from Dublin, Ireland?
Ooh, my mammy's cooking.
Oh,
man. Especially the boiled bacon, cabbage, spuds, HP brown sauce.
So explain to me pudding again, because I go to Fado quite a bit, and I'm always afraid to get the red pudding or the brown pudding
or the black
pudding.
The white pudding.
Tell me more.
They're kind of like little sausage discs. The black pudding has blood in it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's a superfood. It's great.
It's a superfood.
All right, to friends and family in Ireland, how do you describe Dublin, Ohio?
So Ireland is known for being super friendly. I was blown away when I first moved here, because you always think of the East Coast, because that's the TV shows and all we watch. I was blown away how friendly it was here. So I'd say pretty much like home, but you need sunscreen.
I think that's a T-shirt that needs to be sold at the Irish Festival this year.
Well, we used to have a saying, it's greener, the grass is greener in Dublin. So that could really go either way.
There you go,
both have very green grass. So what's your favorite amenity or city service in Dublin?
Since we opened the pub, we've had a couple of St. Patrick's Day outdoor things. We've worked really closely with obviously I'm going to say the local police guys and the Washington Township Fire Department. They're these guys are super professional, super down there. It's super nice. So my shout out to them guys.
Favorite park or outdoor space to unwind?
It was during lockdown, yeah. So we walked the bridge for the first time,
Yeah.
myself, Michelle, and the kids. And we walked across from Bridge Park over to Old Dublin, and we went up by the library. Go, woo! Look at this for a library! Wow! And then went up a little bit more. We'd never been up there, and then you run into Indian Falls, and you're going, "How the heck is this place here?" It's like you've walked into Narnia or something. You know? Like it was a 2-minute walk,
Yeah.
and it's just so tranquil in there, and it's beautiful. So that's what I go for.
Okay, on your restaurant website, it says that you enjoy Guinness and Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey. If you can only have one on a deserted island, which one is it?
Oh, can you ask me which is my favorite kid?
Could choose that more than this.
Yeah, so let me think. So if it's one of them desert islands that is beautiful and lush and lovely, I'll go to Guinness, because it's kind of like a little meal, so you could probably live in it.
There you go.
I wouldn't have to go hunting or foraging or any of that stuff. If it was one of them islands full of snakes and spiders, whiskey would probably kill me quicker. So go with the whiskey for that one.
And they say Guinness tastes different in Ireland, and I was there in the spring, and it's absolutely true. It does taste a little bit different. So if you picked up on that being here and notice a little bit of a difference.
Well, there's very few places I'll drink it. You know, there has to be a place that sells a lot of it, and it's all about how fresh it is. So places to keep an eye on the dates on the kegs. That's the secret.
Ian Montgomery, you've been a great honorary chair and ambassador this year, and we have just a few more days to go until the festivities begin. Thank you for joining us.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Listeners, you can find all the information about this year's Dublin Irish Festival at dublinirishfestival.org. As always, we thank you for taking the time to connect with your city. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the many personalities and experiences that make Dublin a thriving place to live, work, and grow.